Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a good week. Welcome to another edition of Sunday Sermon Q&A, where we try to answer some questions from our sermons on Sunday. Last week we were in Mark chapter 12, verses 28 to 32, where it says that a religious leader came to Jesus and asked him the question, "What is the greatest command?" And Jesus responded by saying, "To love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself." So we talked about what it means, first of all, to love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, to love God with all of our being. And I believe out of that, then we can love our neighbor as ourselves. The questions that came back were all about, how do I love my neighbor? The first one just asked the question, how do I love sacrificially? Now, sacrificial love comes out of the overflow of my relationship with Christ. And it's only through the power of the Holy Spirit that I can love people with an agape kind of love, which is what Jesus is talking about here. Agape love, love that expects nothing in return. And if you want to know what that looks like, 1 Corinthians 13 is a really good place to go. 1 Corinthians 13:4, it says that love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. And it says it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And so that is what sacrificial love looks like. Me loving people, expecting nothing in return. Second question was, what are some needs in our community and how can I show mercy to those needs? There's several things that come to mind immediately. The first one is the Christian Children's Home of Ohio, a place where you can go and just love kids. We've got a group of people that goes up there on a regular basis just to be with kids, and so you could get plugged in there. Another place is the Pregnancy Care Center of Worcester, a place that ministers to single expectant mothers. And then another way is here at the church we have when we are made aware of needs in the church and in the community, we have people that are on an email list that want to know about those requests, and then we send them out and we give people opportunity to help to meet those needs. And then Go Teams. This fall we're going to be beginning a 6-week training with Go Teams. The Go Teams have been to places like Glen Ridge, the Worcester Christian Children's Home, as well as the Pregnancy Care Center, just helping to do exactly the question that was asked, how do I show mercy? And so the Go Teams will be a really good opportunity for you to be involved in. And I think the greatest way, though, is looking around and seeing needs around me. Asking the Holy Spirit to give you eyes to see, to give me eyes to see the needs that are around me, and then speaking into those needs. I think it's just every day being sensitive. And as I love God, I believe as I'm filled with the Spirit, I will be able to see those needs around me and to care for people who have needs. The last question that we're going to look at is, does loving neighbors always include sharing the gospel out loud with words? Yes and no. If you remember back when we did the Out Loud with Words series back in the fall, we talked about something called the cause circle. And the cause circle says that I begin to pray for people, then I care for them and look for opportunities to share. And so when you look at the life of Jesus, he took a lot of time to be away, to be alone with his Father to pray. And because he knew how important it was to talk to God about people before he talked to people about God. And I think for us, it's the same way. When we start praying for people and we start seeking to reach them with the gospel, it prepares their hearts to hear the good news. And then we begin to care for them. We look for ways to care. Jesus did that. Jesus cared for people. He met people's needs. He fed them. He healed them. He spent time just loving them, and so finding ways to care for the people that we're praying for. And then eventually, after we've prayed, after we've cared, we have to lovingly share the gospel with them. Because if all we ever do is meet their needs, we're still not meeting the greatest need, which is Jesus Christ. And so I think we begin loving our neighbors, by praying for them and caring for them, then ultimately looking for ways to share the gospel with them. So, does loving my neighbor include sharing the gospel out loud with words? I believe it does at some point, but it may take some time to cultivate that relationship. So those are the three questions. The last one was, hey, where was your tie on Sunday? But it was just a no tie Sunday, and so maybe I'll try to get a tie for next week. But thanks. Have a good rest of the week.